I based my designs on an hourglass-shaped dulcimer I saw at the Smithsonian Museum back in the 1970s. It was built by J. Edward Thomas, who was considered the first to build dulcimers as a business and sold them door to door for the high price of $3 each. Now, this was in the Kentucky hollers, those remote valleys in that section of the Appalachian Mountains. He worked from the late 1800s up until the 1930s, and many examples of his craft have survived and are housed in several museums across the country. I make other shapes, including a two-player chording dulcimer. Now, a chording dulcimer has two fingerboards, and they run in opposite directions so the players can sit facing each other. The term chording dulcimer comes from the idea that a man and woman played it while courting. I've often thought that courting couples wouldn't have to be chaperoned as long as the music was playing. I sold my courting dulcimer at an Open Studios art tour to a grandmother who wants to play it with her grandchildren. Now, besides the hourglass shape, I also build dulcimers in the very traditional teardrop shape. The teardrop shape actually evolved much earlier than the hourglass, mainly because the thin sides could often be hand bent. In other words, bent without steaming. Many folk art craftsmen who probably knew nothing of steam bending were able to build teardrop-style dulcimers quite easily just by hand bending the wood. As you can see here, I steam bend my sides using this hot iron. I'll dampen the thin sides and slowly work it back and forth until I get the shape that I want. I'll then clamp the bent sides in a form, like this one over here, until the wood is completely dry. The wood then holds its shape very well. Once dry, I can begin gluing the pieces using an assembly form like this one. Now, I've accumulated plans and blueprints to use when building most of my instruments. Some I've purchased, but many I draw up myself after I've studied an instrument, either in person or from a publication. Now, my favorite woods are black walnut and maple. This is a bird's eye maple. But I'll also use other woods for their color and grain, like oak, koa, or this recycled Honduran mahogany. For the tops, I'll often use these same hardwoods, but I'll also use some softwoods like these here. Douglas fir, and redwood. Now, most of these woods are recycled, and many are sustainable harvest woods. The Honduran mahogany is from a tabletop. The Douglas fir is from columns removed from a demolished Portland warehouse. I'll resaw old shelves as well as tree branches and trunks, like this one over here, that neighbors and friends have removed. I'll even reuse woods and material from damaged, irreparable instruments found at garage sales and flea markets. For the tuning pegs, I use mainly ebony or maple, like this, in the style of violin pegs. I turn them on my small lathe to get the rough shape, then hand carve the finger grips. I then use this special peg sharpener, which is similar to a pencil sharpener, that gives the pegs the correct taper so they'll tighten up properly. When I drill the holes in the head, I use this tapered reamer to duplicate the taper of the sharpener. Now, after all the bending, carving, and assembly, it's time to string it up and play it. And here, to play one of my dulcimers for you, I'd like to introduce Rin Eric.
Soldier's joyous peace, they say. I hear it sung out every day. Somehow there's got to be a way to stop the race from fighting. Soldiers' joyous peace, alright, when they finally get to stop the fight and settle down and live their lives. They dream of ways to stop the race from fighting. Alive and breathing, each day greeting a new wish for peace someday. The soldier dreams of what to say to stop the race from fighting. Soldier's joyous peace right now. Soldier's joyous peace somehow. Soldier's goal is to find out how to stop the race from fighting. Soldier's joyous peace for all. Soldier's heart can't stand to stall. Whatever soldier does not fall still dreams of ways to stop the race from fighting. Alive and breathing, each day greeting a new wish for peace someday. The soldier dreams of what to say to stop the race from fighting. To stop the race from fighting.